Hello everyone, you're listening to The Right Side of Gaming. If you're not aware, today was the first day that you could finish the Latent Shadows event, assuming you didn't buy extra bits. Of course, I guess I should say yesterday, because this will be going up the day after I record it. But you've still got a week left if you haven't finished it yet. I'll be picking up the spell. We'll get a bunch of gold, we'll get some unrefined aether, and some spell infusions for it. If you haven't noticed, gold prices are starting to go up, or at least at the broker, and we now have a decent infusion of gold for some players that may not necessarily have had quite enough money for some of those things. So I expect prices will probably start climbing up a little bit for our packs and unlock stuff. I think eventually it'll get to the point where everyone that wanted them has got them, and then maybe prices will start coming down as people either sell them or, more likely, rise up, stay where they are because people have moved on to another pack. Now, as for the spell itself, it's going to deal damage to enemies in a cone in front of you. Pretty straightforward. However, it's going to crit and deal damage over time whenever you're affected by a resistance condition. That means you either have lesser resistance or greater resistance. Okay? Of course, you're going to have to make a black-green deck to play it in. We have all of one black or green spell that's going to grant resistance. In this case, it grants lesser resistance. Invigorating Boon in green says stuff that we don't care about for this particular effect. And then, if you control no creatures, gain lesser resistance for 10 seconds instead. Okay, so that's one option. You can slip that in and do whatever deck you're building. But then you have some gear options, and most of them are common or uncommon, and you can make some use out of them. So a Tire of the Pioneer is a body piece that has, whenever you draw a spell, you have a chance to gain lesser resistance for 5 seconds as sort of its core ability. Adept's Boots. Whenever you activate your utility ability, you have a chance to draw a spell and gain lesser resistance. You have Outlander Boots, so you'd have to pick one of these two. You can't have Outlander Boots and Adept's Boots on. This one says, whenever you activate your secondary, you have a chance to gain lesser resistance. And again, this is not necessarily one of the core mods. This is, one of our secondary adaptive modifier options. So right now we're looking at secondary, utility, and just draw. Although in this case, since this is a draw a spell, and this one would also draw a spell whenever you activate your utility, I feel like Adept and a Tire work together really well. That's just me. We also have some artifact options. Blooming Totem says whenever you cast a spell, you're going to gain lesser resistance. And then you're also going to create a health orb if the mana cost was 8 or higher, which isn't unreasonable in green. But the big thing is, whenever you cast a spell, regardless of the color, you're going to get that lesser resistance, and then, it gives, green mana buffs, which you're probably going to be using anyway, since you're going to be in a green-black deck. And then this one is our Draconic Flux, which is our legendary. Blooming Totem is greater, Draconic Flux is legendary. It's going to be a little harder to get. Blooming Totem, I feel like you're probably going to find just fine. This one may take a little while. But it's whenever you cast a sorcery spell, you're going to gain lesser resistance. And then there's also a chance to create a dragon creature token. And then it also is going to buff red mana creature health, which, even if it doesn't necessarily apply to anything else in your deck, would apply to the dragons. But I can also see why maybe this isn't something that you would want to use in a particular build. It would just be in case you needed that extra resistance trigger. But as it stands, you don't have a whole lot of options in-game at the moment to trigger the new spell's critical effect. I'd also like to remind everyone that this weekend is double Chromatic Mana weekend. We had double Eternal Echoes previously, which was for high-level spells. Okay, when you wanted to upgrade your spells, after a certain point you need those Eternal Echoes. Well, this is for your personal realm. If you want to upgrade your personal realm or do some of those high-level projects, you need the Chromatic mana. And like Eternal Echoes, you're going to be getting it by completing skirmishes and missions on Expert or Master difficulty, and that's what it's going to apply to. There's some other ways to get Chromatic mana, but they're not going to be doubled for this. Then again, you still have your weekly and your carry caps in place, so it's not like you can stack up a whole lot. You're just going to get stuff faster, and it's stuff that you are probably going to be getting anyway. If you're a lower level and you're not up to the Expert or Master difficulty just yet, again, this is one of those that's probably not going to make any difference for you. But for the players that are up there grinding and maybe not necessarily doing it every day, this will help you along a little bit. That's all I had for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you'd like to leave a like, comment, subscribe, that'd be great. If not, that's okay too. Either way, I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you next time.